Welcome to Inhabitat.com's special coverage of the London Design Festival with me, Steve Lorimer. If London is to have any chance of sustainable urban growth, cycling has to be part of the solution. But inside the spaces urban dwellers have to deal with, what do you do with the bike when there is no secure place to put it? The hallway is an obvious choice to an apartment resident, but tripping over bikes won't make good flatmates or upstairs neighbours. Andrew Lang has come up with a smart product to keep the peace by hanging your bike on the wall, the Cycloc. I found Andrew and his design last weekend at 100% Design in Earls Court in London. Okay, Andrew, what exactly is the product here? Standing here, it looks like a cone with a bicycle just rammed into it. But where did the design idea come from?
Okay, it's very much a bicycle storage and display product for your flat or your apartment, particularly if you live in a city. The problem I was faced with is that I am a very keen cyclist, and I had 4 bicycles in the hallway of my apartment in London. I'm a product designer as well. And I had a look around at the various products that are available for storage, but most of those were very much utility orientated, which is fine for a garage or some other storage space in your house. And as you might imagine, living in a city, space is very much limited. So while I was idly thinking about various concepts, it was only while I was toying with the pencil between my fingers that I realised that you only needed one balance point, so long as you stopped or you had another point that prevented rotation or a pencil falling out of my hand.
Well, because when you're staring at this, you can see that there's one hook facing upwards and one facing downwards, which is very unusual because your first thought is just put 2 up-facing hooks and put it on top of it, and that's what you see in your dad's shed, for instance. But you went for something completely different, and it looks great because of it.
Well, this is it, and there's a couple of problems associated with the conventional type of double hook arrangement, and they become particularly obvious. Let's say if you've got a frame that's got a sloping top tube, some of the compact road bikes and such like now have got sloping top tubes, and if you offer those up to a contraption that has 2 horizontal hooks, the bike doesn't sit horizontally on a wall. So with this arrangement, you can actually rotate the unit to accommodate the angle of a sloping top tube, and the bike remains horizontal. So just going back to the idle thought solution of while I was sketching ideas, I realised that, as I say, I could hold the pencil in my hand and it would remain horizontal if held between 2 fingers. I then cut up a polystyrene coffee cup that I was drinking coffee out at the time to contrive a small item that would support that pencil horizontally, and that was really the gem of the idea. It's scaled up from there through various prototypes, and it's pretty much the basis of what you see in front of you today.
And it looks simple, and I think it's fantastic from what I can see. And where has it been going since you've been selling these in January? What kind of living arrangements that people have been in that you've been selling it to?
Well, the vast majority have been selling to end users that live in cities, so densely populated urban areas where there are an awful lot of people, but the living spaces are actually correspondingly much smaller, so you don't have the luxury of lots of storage space and no garage or shed or anything like that. So people are mounting them in perhaps a room of their house or the hallway. So it's a situation whereby people use a bike to commute around the city, arrive home, and instead of having a booby-trapped hallway, they hang their bike up very much as they would hang up a jacket.
And you're hoping that it would alleviate some conflicts between tenants, between each other and their landlord in the process as well.
Well, this is it, exactly. It's all about making life less painful. And it seems to be working. The reception has been phenomenal, and people have been very complimentary. And over the last couple of months, it's also picked up a few awards from various industries, both the design industry and the manufacturing industry. So it's nice that it seems to be appealing to everybody across the board.
And you've been selling it since January now?
That's it. In the last 9 months, it's as I say, it's been received very well in various markets. Actually, we've carried out a few trade shows. We showed it at 100% initially last year. Wasn't quite production ready, but since then we've exhibited in Milan and in New York.
And what kind of crazy places have you sold it to since then? Have you been alerted by your website that you've been sending things to Tokyo or sending things to Singapore?
I think we've probably sold to most of the principal markets. There have been many going off to the Far East, some off to Australia, the odd one even to Russia. But, and what is interesting is that various territories have their favourite colours.
And which colours come to mind? Do the British always buy red, or the Americans always buy white, or something like that?
Well, yeah, in America the popular ones are the white and the orange by far, and in the UK it's the black one, and I think that's people's conscience speaking to them, because that's the one that's made from 100% recycled material. And I have to say that every single one I've sold to Ireland has been green.
And I know that you've been exhibiting in New York specifically, because a lot of people watch this website from America and New York. And in terms of a local distribution network in America, have you been working on that, or are you still selling only from Britain and shipping from Britain at this time?
Well, the vast majority of sales are directly from Britain, and actually the first retailer ever to carry it was Moss in Soho in New York, so that was nice. And from this point it's all about ramping up a production and actually having a much greater presence in each of the principal territories that we sell into. So in the medium to long term now, we're looking at establishing a distribution facility.
But these are not really, finally, these are not really territories, and then because this is very much a big city product. I mean, this is just world cities and people, very little space, living in walk-up flats. You know, London, Paris, New York, Munich. You know how the song goes, comes to mind. Is that really what the target is? Not really, almost just targeting the big cities and how people live.
Well, it's very much a big city product. But then again, and the world seems to be a very big city now, and certainly from the way that we're selling the product, just shipping it left, right and centre across the world, it's as though, the world is our city.
Thank you very much, Andrew.
Thank you very much.
For more on the London Design Festival, please go to inhabitat.com. For now, I'm Steve Lorimer.